Hello, today I am going to give you an honest review, ownership review of my car, which is Jeep Compass Limited Edition. And today I am going to tell you what all good things are in it and what bad things are in it, if any. And based on that, you can make up your mind whether you should go for it or not. So, this is the car. This is a compact SUV, and you can see the Jeep badging, and it has got 18-inch alloy wheels with the tire, and the tire size is 225/55 and R18. This is an all-weather tire, and this is beautiful Compass badging 08. And this is limited edition, limited plus edition, and this just taking a roundabout of the car, and then we'll get inside, and I'll tell you about two things. First thing is, it is a dual tone with the black roof and white body color. These are roof rails, and this is antenna. This is a rear wiper. So we can see the engine. This is very beautiful and nicely placed. This is a Jeep turbo diesel, and this is the insulation which is done to prevent the engine noise, because it is a diesel engine. It has got around 430 liters of boot space, which is good enough for a small family. And you can see this much is the space, and I have kept some stuff over here. If you want to increase the boot space, there is an extra space where this tire is kept. The spare tire is 2 inch smaller. It is R16, but it fits well. If anything happens to another tire, it can be easily replaced, and it can also be used. This tire can be removed from here and kept it on one side, and then the boot space can be increased accordingly. So from 430, the boot space can go till about 500 liters. Now we will see the back space, and you can see the seats are really nice. There is enough leg room even for the rear passengers, and because mine is 2020 model, we don't have any access to the boot space from here, but this we have got here. We can put 2 glasses or coffee mugs into this, or this can also be used as a hand support. Now we'll be going to the driving seat, and we'll see all the instruments over there. So first thing which impresses is the premiumness of the cabin. The cabin looks very premium. I have been to cabins of its rivals like Harrier, Creta, and Seltos, Hector, and myself felt that the best cabin was of Compass. If you can see, it's a soft touch plastic. Most of the other cars, they are having the hard plastics. This is the 18-inch screen which is embedded into this panel. It is not protruding, or the screen is not like kept separately. and then we have this leather wrapped steering wheel, and then we have these controls. This is a driver door, and we can see that again the soft plastic material is over there, and this is leather, which is very comfortable. It can also be used as a hand support. And then we have got the panels, we have got the one touch down window glasses for the front seats, while for the rear seats it's not one touch. And then we have got controls for the ORVM, the back view mirror. This is the lock door. Now on the steering we have got this beautiful Jeep badging, and here we get the control of this screen. This screen is a mix of analog and digital, and in between we have got this information that can be changed from here. So if we press it upwards, it will go to 1. In first screen we are just having the speedometer. In the second screen we have got the information of DEF, which is added to reduce pollution. That is also called AdBlue. So we can see that still more than half, and I don't need to change it. Then in third we get the fuel economy and the instant mileage, which I will be showing you when I will be running this vehicle. Then we have got this trip meter and audio information, which channel is being played on the radio. And then we can add something more, message and screen setup, settings. So there are various things which can be done with the help of this screen. And this is our next screen, infotainment screen, and we can see various things like radio, media, climate, then apps. If you press this, all the apps present in this will come over here, and it nicely combines with your phone. It is not yet connected, but I'll connect it. And so it is now connected, and it is updating the phone book. And you can see the best part is if you don't want any call while driving, you can press this button, do not disturb, and you won't receive any call. It has also got a compass, inbuilt compass, which can tell you the direction in which you are heading, and there are various settings over here. Down below we have got this mute button, then automatic parking on and off button, then screen can be switched off from here. The passenger bag can be switched on and switched off. This knob is for the volume, and this knob is for the tuning radio. Below that we have got this AC controls, and here we have got dual zone AC. The temperature for driver and co-driver both can be adjusted from here separately. So we have got this dual mode. Below this we have got this aux port and USB port, and then we have got this 12-volt port which can be used for charging. Then we have got a small space over here, and we can put our mobile or something. Then we have got this steering. This is a manual model, so we don't have automatic controls. And below that we have got this electronic parking and this automatic parking button if you want to switch it off. And then we have got this traction control. Behind this we have got these two bottle spaces. I have put a dustbin, that's miniature dustbin over it, and behind this we have got this handrest, and handrest also has got a little storage capacity. The storage is not much, but still some essential things can be kept over here. Below this we can see that it has got electronically adjustable driver seat. The co-driver seat is not electronically adjustable, it's only the manually adjustable, but this can be adjusted either to and fro or up and down, and this is for the lumbar support. This special feature I find it very useful for myself, because I can place this seat as per my requirement and exactly suitable to me. And we have also got two memory for the seat adjustment over here on the door, and we can set the seat to a particular position and we can save the memory, and whenever we want that we have to just press this 1 or 2 button and it will automatically go to that place, the driving seat. We have also got panoramic sunroof over here, and here are the controls of this sunroof. I am going to open it. You can see that roof is receding. Firstly it goes half, and after pushing once more the seat gets completely open, and now you can see that the whole of the sky can be seen from here, and we can also open it and have the fresh air feeling inside the cabin. The other roof goes only half, while the sunroof goes full. One very important thing about this vehicle, which everybody asks, and for all the vehicles in India especially, is the mileage. And here I am focusing the mileage. I have driven this car for around 1939 km, and you can see the mileage 12.7 km per hour, and that too in the regular use, means I have just driven one sit in a highway for around 500 kilometers, and the mileage is coming is 12.7. So this is much better than some other cars of the same segment, which give us very less mileage. One very important thing about this car is it gives reasonably good mileage. So whatever they claim as the NRI mileage, but here I am giving the user mileage. You can see that this car has been driven 1939 kilometers, and the total average of this is 12.7 km per liter. And the car has been used mostly for in-city driving. I have taken this car only once on the highway for 500 kilometers around, and still the average is 12.7 km per liter, which is very good and much better than some of the competitors. So now I am going to tell you about two things. Firstly, I was in two minds whether I should upgrade myself from a hatchback or sedan to this compact SUV or not. And secondly, why I liked this Jeep Compass over other competitors like Hector, Harrier, Creta, Seltos, and even Elantra and Tucson. So I had taken test ride of all of these. So firstly, I'll tell about why whether you should upgrade yourself from the sedan like Honda City or Hyundai Verna if you really want it, and if you are in two minds. So the obvious answer for this is yes. I have used this vehicle for around 2.5 months, and I found it pretty thrilling and very enjoyable and better than the hatchback and sedan. In hatchback, everybody knows that they have got very less power, and their power ranges from 80 to maximum of 100. And here this vehicle has got around 170 power and 350 torque, which is way more than any hatchback, and that gives a very thrilling experience while driving and gives a kick when your this car suddenly gets the thrust. Now in comparison to sedan also, sedan mostly they are low lying and they remain quite stuck to the ground. Even if at high speed, you don't feel that thrill. But this big vehicle, when this gets the speed of 80, 100 and 120, the sudden rush of the whole momentum, it gives you a sudden rush of thrill or the adrenaline kick, which now I'm liking very much, and I am getting used to it. So I'll surely say that if you are in two minds whether you should upgrade from hatchback or sedan to a SUV or compact SUV, the answer is yes from my side, because I really liked it. Now coming to the next question, why I purchased Jeep Compass over its other competitors. I'll tell you, I had taken test drive of all the other competitors, and I chose this car for mainly 3 or 4 reasons. My first reason was the safety profile. Now, gone are the days when people even didn't know or talk about the safety of a car while purchasing a car. They just used to ask the price and the mileage. But nowadays, especially if you are purchasing a powerful car, a car like this with 170, 140, 150 power, then safety is the foremost important. And nowadays NCAP safety rating is everywhere, and this car in Euro NCAP safety rating got 5 star. 5 star is the safest rating, so this is one of the foremost reason why I chose this car. While Harrier hasn't got this testing done yet, I don't know what will be the testing rating. Hector hasn't got. Seltos has got 3 star rating, and Creta also I think will get the similar star rating. So out of the lot, this is the safest car as present. The second reason why I bought this car is whenever you are planning to spend around 20 lakhs rupees, you want a premiumness, kind of swanky kind of variety when you enter the cabin. I have entered the cabin of all of these cars, like Harrier, like Creta, Seltos, and I found that most of those cars, the cabin was made up of hard plastics. They look like glossy, but that premiumness is not there. And when you are spending 20 lakhs, 20 plus, then you definitely want some premiumness inside the cabin. The cabin should look posh in comparison to a regular sedan or hatchback cars, and this car offers that premiumness. And that was very important criteria for me before purchasing a car. Third most important point is, whenever you are going to purchase a car, brand matters a lot. And it's not just the name of the brand, you see the experience which a brand is having. So when I compare Tata, Hyundai or Creta, or even any other car, I see that Jeep is much older company, and it has got a lot experience, much more experience over these other competitor brands, and they are into car making since very long time. The second point is, nowadays everybody wants made in India car because of this Narendra Modi's drive of made in India car. So this car also is made in India. This is not a foreign made car. And the best thing about this car is that the car which are made in India, they are exported to more than 14 countries. So the car which is being exported to more than 14 countries, one can be very assured of its quality. So I was quite relaxed about the quality, about the make, about the brand of this car. So third point for choosing this car was this. Fourth point is mileage. Is absolutely every Indian wants a car which gives a good mileage. So I compared mileage of various cars. I won't say this car has the best mileage, but this car has reasonably good mileage. Obviously, if you go for Creta and Seltos, you will get slightly more mileage, but then accordingly the power will reduce, and the size will reduce, the momentum will reduce, and the thrill and rush will reduce accordingly. Harrier has got slightly less mileage than this, and Tucson has got much less instant mileage. I have test driven all these cars and I have seen their instant mileage, and this car gives the reasonably good mileage, and more so because I have purchased this manual variety, manual variant. Manual variant gives more mileage than automatic variant. So this was my fifth point for purchasing this car. Now sixth point is this electronic driver seat, electronically adjustable driver seat, which is very good quality. although most of its competitors are also offering it, but that is the good points, that is in the list of the good points I have noted. And this is very useful because once I had driven this car for around 12 hours, and I could use all these minor adjustment in the seats, and even after driving for 12 hours I was not much tired. And the best part about this electronically adjustable seat is the lumbar support. Actually, I can fix this lumbar support according to my own lumbar curvature, and after that setting is perfect, it feels so comfortable. Next is panoramic sunroof, which is also offered by most of the other competitors. And I had seen so many cars comparing all its competitors, and they all say that Jeep Compass, the old variety, which I am in old variety, not the new variety, it's not strong in terms of features. But I'll tell you, it's pretty much strong. It has got many new features. It has got Android Auto, it has got Apple iConnect, and the best thing which was unexpected for me, which I did not know before and only came to know after that, is auto stop feature and electronic parking brake. I have already shown you that electronic parking brake. I was expecting a manual handbrake, but which is there in the Harrier, manual handbrake, but Creta, Seltos and this Hector, they are having electronic parking brake. This is also having automatic electronic parking brake. Automatic system can be turned off and on as per the requirement. And the next is auto engine off. Whenever I press brake at the traffic signal, the engine gets automatically turned off. And one extra feature which many of the people might not be aware, which I only came after driving it for 2.5 months, is when the AC is off, the automatic engine off will remain off. Engine will remain off till the time you touch either the clutch or the steering. But when AC is off, the engine will remain off only for 40 seconds. After 40 seconds, the engine will automatically turn on. So if your traffic light, the stop is less than 40 seconds, you won't feel it. But if the stop is for more than 40 seconds, like 1 minute or more than 1 minute, then after 40 seconds the engine is automatically getting turned on. I think this is to maintain the optimum temperature inside the cabin. Now I'll coming to the negative points and the things which I miss in this car, although I don't regret it because I can manage without all these points, and that is why I purchased this car. But the negative points is a very important safety feature like tire pressure monitoring system is not in this 2020 version. But the new version of this Jeep Compass has it in the same model, but my version doesn't has the tire pressure monitoring system. The second negative point is it does not has the LED headlamp. Most of the competitors, in fact, except Harrier, they all are having LED headlamps, and even the new variant of the facelift model of Jeep Compass, which is nowadays present in the market, it's also having the LED headlamp. But this model is not having LED headlamp. This model is not having tire pressure monitoring system, and it is not a connected car. Connected car means it is not having over-the-air updates, while the new model of Jeep Compass, they are having over-the-air updates. So these are the three things which are lacking, but I don't think I miss those things because the new model is slightly costlier than the older model, and what I paid, I think my deal was good enough for the money which I paid. So friends, I've told you everything in detail about the plus points and negative points of this car. If you like the video, you kindly subscribe my channel and press the bell icon. If any new video comes, you can immediately watch it. And if you got left any question about this car, if you got any query, you can add it in the comments box and I'll try to answer your query. Thank you. Bye bye.